I'm going to talk about splitting power. Here you are used to seeing me with a large gear. Now large gears have more than one. Come on. Oh, I know what's wrong. Okay. Right, large gears have more than one use. They obviously, we can gear up, we can gear down when it comes to power. I'm not going to talk about that today. What I'm going to talk about is splitting power, because initially when we first had power in Vintage Story, we just had a windmill, wooden axle, and then you would put your quern at the bottom. The quern was the first thing to be powered. But then more power things were added. So we've added the helve hammer, which is in here and is not working. And that's because I've put this in, and this does not like having the grinding wheel. I know that if I take this off and I reassemble that wooden axle, it'll work, but it's not happy. It's not something I feel I'm comfortable with. Now, if you want to split power, we have always had this wooden wheel, and you can only split it 4 ways. You could put another offshoot here, you can put another offshoot here, but you can't put them diagonally. Now, we have a new alternative, and that is to use these new spur gears. Now, where are my angled gears? They are there. Okay, so put an angled gear there. All right, and a spur gear. I've made an extra one. I've got 3 of them. You can stick it there. Now, this brings the power out in that direction. You cannot take the power out easily in this direction because you can't put a spur gear, an axle here and a spur gear here, because it doesn't link. They're not on the same part of the block. So what you have to do is to put an axle here next to this axle and a spur gear here, and you can immediately see that that has linked up and that will grind the quern, but the power is going in that direction. It's going in the opposite direction. So when you take the power off a power source with a spur gear, if you then use more spur gears, you reverse the direction of the power. And if we want another one, we put the axle down there, we put the spur gear, I'm in the way, there, and then it will take it out this way. Now in both cases, the power is coming out from here. So this is an alternative method of using spur gears. Now what you can do is, I have bent this power around a corner because I've got these angled gears, and I've bent it round this corner. You could take these feeds straight out in this direction. So the power feeds, if you have the power coming down and feeding to the left, you put your spur gears in, and then all the other subsidiary feeds go to the right. I don't know if that makes sense, but you can have as many spur gears as your windmill will power, and you can line them up like that, and then all your axles could go straight out this way. Oh, a goat. So that works to me. Now it just so happens that I want to run this one separately. I don't want it in this powertrain because frankly it does not work. I don't want to have to keep coming on and faffing around with axles. I want that to be a straight run. So what I want to do is to take some more power to here. I happen to like the idea of using the spur gears as well. I think they are a bit slower than my windmills, but that's just a personal thing. So I'm going to take these off, take these axles out, take this out, let's pick all our bits up, and I'm going to go back to something that I particularly happen to like, which is this large wooden gear. So that's really good. Now on this side, I do happen to run two things. I happen to want to take, let's put these ones in here. Yeah, I want to take a spur gear here because I want to split this power source into two. So I'll put that there. I will put another wooden gear here and another spur gear here. Now this power is going back this way, which is not ideal. So what we're going to do, take those off, use a couple more axles. So you can see the power's coming this way. Take that way. Take the axle out. Put a set of gears in to turn it round. Put the axle going that way, that turns, and then I'm going to add this here. Because what I don't want to do is to have to keep rebuilding this powertrain. So that, I think, our grinding wheel is not yet a polished mechanism. Now I also want to take more power out of here, so I'm going to put down another axle. Oops, I'm in the way again. And another gear. I'm out of angled gears, but what I'm going to do is to put an angled gear here to take the power this way, and then I'm going to feed a pulverizer from there. So that is how I'm going to run two powertrains from this side. And as you can see, it all fits together. It's taken me some time to get my head round this sort of fact that you take the power in this way, but it comes out this way. Once you've got your head around that, you're fine. So I need another set of angled gears, and then I will need a lot of axles to feed a pulverizer. I don't know if that makes things clearer, but let's ignore powering up and powering down. The large wheel and the spur gears are all about splitting powertrains. Now, I could easily have taken, instead of taking this and spur gears, I could easily have taken an axle off here, but this is a main thoroughfare, so I do not want to have holes in the floor or whatever else I have to do to get power from here. Now, we've been talking about vertical power. Obviously you can get horizontal power. If the power were going in this way, it would be horizontal power. You can use the same sort of mechanisms, but that to me all works well. So I've got 3 of my 4 powered mechanical things up and running, and as soon as I've got another set of angled gears, I will be able to get a pulverizer going. I do need a couple of pounder caps, by the way. But that is how I see it working. I don't know if that's any clearer, but it's clear to me. And the other thing that's clear to me is that this thing is still, I would call it a little sketchy. Just a little sketchy. So I'm going to run it separately, that I don't have to keep rebuilding this. Don't you just love it? I absolutely love all these gears.